Okay, hey everybody, how are you today? Let's see. All right. One person watching, but that could be me watching myself. Maybe I'm talking to myself. Okay, let's see. Gotta dig through some bags of watercolor paint here. I'm gonna need my reading glasses for this. Okay. Oh, there's 3 people watching, so it's more than just me watching myself. Woohoo! Hi guys. So I have to do this first just because if I don't do it now, it's not going to get done. And then we'll paint something. In the meantime, while I'm hunting up colors, maybe you guys want to ask me questions. Let's see, that one will work. I've got Grumbacher, Van Gogh, and Winsor Newton paints here. And I'm going to fill this extra teeny tiny watercolor palette that I made out of an Altoid Smalls tin. The video for how I did this is already edited and it will be loaded soon. This is I made 2 of them. This is the one I'm going to keep, and this is the one I'm going to fill and share. Payne's gray. Let's see. Hey, Lisa. I'm trying to figure out what colors I have that I want to put in here. I am. So I'm making actually a spare one to give away. Sorry about the crinkly plastic. Wait, let me dump these all out so that we don't have to deal with that crinkly plastic noise. All right. There's no shortage of watercolor tubes around here. So recently my YouTube channel hit 6,000 people. Wahoo! And I am going to make a small mini travel kit to give away, and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm going to do. But first we got to find paint to go in here. Let's see. So I want white. I know I have white in here somewhere because I just bought white on clearance at Hobby Lobby. Love that place because I used up all my white paint, and of course I just tossed it in the bag and now it's mixed up with everything else. I don't know where it's at. Because, you know, me and my brilliant ideas, I just dump stuff out on the table. Oh, hey. Well, welcome. Live is always much more fun. I just treat it kind of like you guys are visiting me in my art room while I'm doing stuff. I just had the tube of Chinese. Well, here it is. Holy cow. So I'm going to try to put similar colors to the colors I put in here. That'll work. And I am going to write the brand names down if I can. These are a selection of colors that work for me, that I really like. A couple of blues, a red, a pink, because I just hate, you know, I'm a lazy crafter, so mixing pink in my watercolors is not my, I don't like it. I like this rose madder better. We'll put that in there. So it's not my thing. So I like to have certain colors I don't have to mix, like turquoise and pink, but I like to have a blue, red, and orange, or a gold color, a yellow, nice lemony yellow, a teal, a green, a pure blue, a purple, a dark brown or a Payne's gray, and white. I have an addiction to travel boxes, and I'll show you the ones. I'll show you a few of the ones I've gotten in recently in a minute. It's a problem. I have a big addiction. Oh, sepia. A big addiction to travel boxes. I own that. We're gonna put a purple. I like purple's one of those colors that if you can help it, you don't want to have to mix. Looking for like an ultramarine blue. I'm looking for, I mean, and you can buy travel boxes. Of course you can. Every paint manufacturer on the planet makes some kind of travel box. But my favorite brand is Daniel Smith. But as you can see by the selection here, I do use all the brands. Daniel Smith is my favorite. But I am by no means a paint snob. I really have a hard time finding one that I dislike. So I want to put an orange in there or a gold color, and I think I'm going to put vermilion. And then we want something that's tealy. Let's see. Some of these I picked up on clearance. Watercolor paint doesn't really go bad. So if the tube dries up, just crack it open. And let's grab a piece of paper. Sorry, I need a scratch piece of paper. Hang on. Just crack it open and then maybe mix it with some gum arabic or other binder. It's a pretty color, but that's not the color I'm looking for to add to this palette. And crunch it up and add it to some gum arabic and mix it up good, and it should be fine. Manganese blue might work. Oh, here, turquoise. Haha. All right. And my goal is to use up some of these tubes because I have a lot of paint. So, all right. So the first thing, if you end up making your own travel palette, you know, of course, the first thing is to get the case together. Personally, I like at least 10 colors. I can make it work with less, and I have made it work with less. But 10 colors is a good selection. If your choices, Gail, are Winsor Newton or Golden Coir watercolor paints, then I would say probably Winsor Newton. There's nothing wrong with Coir, but they're more expensive. Winsor Newton, these are Winsor Newton Codman, and some of these are Winsor Newton Professional, and the Winsor Newton paints are very affordable. The professional ones, generally speaking, are a lot more expensive. Like this little one, this was originally $10 a tube. And I think these other ones, which are the student grade, were like $4. Daniel Smith is going to be a lot more, and so will Coir. Van Gogh are usually inexpensive. They're $4.59 a tube at Hobby Lobby. Lately, they've been on clearance, so I don't know if that means they're not carrying them anymore. I have some Dick Blick, generic Dick Blick store brands, and they're actually pretty good. They're not expensive either. All of these are affordable paints. Yeah, exactly. And the nice thing about this little case is I was carrying it around in this little box, which is from some paper clips I bought at Target. And everything fit in here except for my little journal, which I kind of want to carry with me. But I can make this work, and there's no way that doesn't fit in my handbag. You can also, though, make it work in one of these photo storage cube boxes. And you can fit a little small journal in here, or a notebook, some watercolor paper, a water brush. Everything you need will fit in here. So now that I've got my case made, and again, there's going to be a video that comes out on how exactly I did this, and it's a little bit fiddly, but it does work. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is make a color key. So I got to draw some squares on this little teeny tiny piece of paper because you can't really tell from just the paints being here in the case really what colors they are if you don't have a little swatch of them. Now you could line the lid of this box with UPO, which is water resistant and doesn't absorb anything. And that would give you a mixing space. But I think that you would be better served, and I think what I'm going to do is take the lid of whatever box that you're using, whether you're using one this size or a bigger one, and line the inside of the box with the UPO paper. Why bother to do that? Because the UPO is white, and you'll be able to tell what the color is against the white paper. And because it's not absorbent, you could just wash it off. I'm not worried about these squares being, you know, even or anything, but they're really teeny tiny. Okay, so this is the time when you get out your teeny tiny print. Yes, the pigment that they used in the paint changes the price. And so especially if you're on a budget, you want to be aware of that. And if light fastness is of a deep concern for you, then as you're picking your colors, like Daniel Smith has one called Opera Pink that I love, but it's not light fast, hardly at all. They also have, I think it's Rhodonite Genuine. And that one's a very similar color, but it's light fast. So, you know, you want to have all of those decisions in mind. I think I'm going to be using the inside of the lid of the box for mixing color. We're going to work on that this morning. So first we're going to pick out our colors. And when I do this, no matter what palette I'm using, whether it's a big one or a little one, I figure out what colors I want to put in it, and I line them up like this in the rows that they're going to be in before I put anything in the box. Then I make my color key and I write all the names down on the key in the order that they're in on the table. And the hardest part of doing this is writing the names down. That's honestly, because there's only so much space. And writing them down, because I'm going to give this one away, writing them down so that the person who gets it is going to be able to understand. Whoever gets it, if you are watching and you get this and you don't understand, you know, just email me. I'll try to see if I can remember. I'm going to see if I can put a note in here. And I'll read you all the colors that I have in the kit. The colors are a little bit different. This one has all Daniel Smith paints in it. This one has a variety. Not for any particular reason. I was going to pull out the Daniel Smith this morning, but I have more of these tubes I need to use up and share. So, so that's what we're doing. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Definitely, I need my reading glasses for this. Okay. Wow, that's really little. What kind of tin are you using? So this little Ultra Mini Altoid Smalls, this is an Altoid Smalls tin. I'll close this one so that you can see. It's an Altoid Smalls peppermint tin. All right, now we are going to fill our wells. And I like doing, if you're going to do a homemade kit, I like these Altoid Smalls tins because although they are thicker than other things you could use, that means that when you build your little wells, you can kind of get a lot of paint in here. And I like that. And also, one of my favorite things about the Grumbacher watercolor paints, I love the lids. They're easy to take on and off. Let's see. Yeah, the tiny writing is a pain in the neck. I have a set of, this lid's stuck, hold on. I have a set of proper watercolor travel brushes that's an actual regular brush. In this teeny tiny case, I would bring a water brush. This one's really stuck. Oh, there we go. That's what I get for not wiping the threads off the lid. Let's see. So I usually use a water brush like the, I like the one that has the cap in it. So you can have it actually water in here and you can have the plug in and it doesn't leak. And then I have this little pipette in here, and that's for, like, say you're out at the coffee shop, you can order a glass of water, and instead of like just grossing everybody out by dipping your brush in the water, you can just squeeze some water up into here and fill your water brush with it. I made a watercolor. Yeah, it's a great gift for you know, anybody who's into art and travel arting and travel journaling. Hey Patricia, Artfully Made for You, hello. Lime Lamb, hello. Hello. Nkana3, hello. And anybody else I missed, hello. I based this palette on what my favorite colors were and ones that I know that I like to paint with on a regular basis, and or that I like mixing to create other colors. So as you work with your paints, you will discover that there are colors that you prefer. Like for green, you know, I have lots of colors of green watercolor paint, Cascade Green and Viridian. I happen to be a big sap green fan. That's my favorite green, is sap green. So I included that in the kits. I like to have a yellow and an orange instead of two yellows. I like to have two reds, one that's more red and one that's pink. I like to have two blues, one more true blue and one turquoise. I like to have a purple and then a Payne's gray or sepia tone. That's like my minimum kind of colors that I like. Oh, and including white. Here we go again with a stuck lid. There we go. And as you get, you know, more familiar with watercolor painting and the process, you'll discover along the way what you like and what you don't like. Yay, I'm going to be able to use up a tube. This is a really great color. This is a Grumbacher Academy color. This is their turquoise. Yeah, I like Grumbacher paints. There's nothing wrong with Grumbacher. That one's empty. Use what you can afford. Don't buy a fancy brand because you think you have to have the fancy brand. Buy what you can afford. And if you're brand new to watercolors, buy a student set and try them first. Don't go all crazy spending, you know, hundreds of dollars on paint for something you're not even sure you're going to like working with. And this is sepia. I chose to put sepia in my palette, and I'm choosing to put it in this one too. All right, put all those over there. All right, so now we're going to do some swatches on our card. I do always swatch the white, although it's kind of silly because you can't tell that the white's on there. I admit that. Yeah, the Yupo paper is a great, it's not my original idea. I saw it on somebody else's YouTube channel, and I can't remember who. If you all remember, let me know. She was making little watercolor palettes also, and sharing her pocket palettes. She's got a kind of a pocket palette collection too. I think she was Australian. We're going to just do little swatches of colors. You don't need to have big swatches. You just want to have an idea of what the color looks like on white paper in your tin. So you're not guessing, because some of these colors, especially the darker ones, they just look like black blobs in the case, and you have no idea. Gonna lift some of that. I got too much paint on there. That's what happens when you're doing your swatches of paint straight out of the tubes. So you can see that that's actually purple. Okay, and sepia. So that's that. And then you have to leave it sit out for a few days to dry. This one here, I'll turn my phone off. This one here has been sitting out. When did I do this? I want to say I did it on Friday. You're not cheap, you're inexpensive, yes. So that's fine. I have a lot of paint at this point. I'm being gifted it from companies, and I don't need to do that. But and that one, believe me, I was pushing. There's nothing left in that tube. Anyway, I try not to be wasteful. So anyway, this has been sitting out, I think, since Friday, and you want to leave it open and let them really dry before you close it up, so they don't get moldy. And then we can set this one aside. So then, like I said, I used to keep my travel stuff. This just goes in my handbag, and it really goes with me wherever I go, and that way I always have something to work with. Because, you know, I don't do boredom well. All right, so the only thing that didn't fit in here was this little mini watercolor journal, which I had to like rubber band to the outside. So what I did was I had this. This is a little piece of eraser. And this whole thing closed up. It was a little bit of a tight squeeze. And that would go in my handbag. Clear my camera. I don't understand what you mean. The picture looks fine to me. Krista, I don't understand what you mean. And I would take this with me, and I would put this like this. And I still like this little tiny box because this is really great. But I really would like for this little journal to be inside the box, and or if I want to bring a small little notebook with me, I want to be able to fit that in the box. So I decided this morning, actually last night, when I found this tin in my stash of stuff when I was purging yesterday, that we would switch tins or switch boxes, and that I would put this in here. And I always have like a piece of paper towel, my water brush, and I actually could fit another water brush in here now. I'm not going to, but I could. Anybody else having problems with the picture? I don't know what Krista is talking about. I'm not in sharp focus. Okay, I'm confused. Is anybody else having problems with the picture? Because from my end, it looks fine. I can also fit a black pen in here. I made this tiny journal, and this is not my idea. There is a YouTuber here who makes a journal like this. It's made from one piece of paper. She uses a big piece of paper and makes a big journal. I did a mini one from a smaller piece of paper. And I have a previous video on how I did this, and I don't know, I can't get the link right now while I'm live. Okay, anybody who's having problems with the audio or the picture, if you can maybe go out and come back in again, because it is fine on my end. I did zoom in a little bit more, and it's fine for most everybody else. So maybe it's, you also can go click on the picture, and 3 little dots will come up in the upper right hand corner if you're on a tablet. And when you click on those, go to the gear and adjust your picture to 720p. And then try that, and it should be better. So ideally, when you're making hey, so when you're making your palette, ideally you want a good selection of warm and cool colors. I tend to go more for cool than warm, but I do try to have, like in this palette, I have a quinacridone gold, which is warmer. I chose a quin red, which is kind of, it's more of a blue red. But I also have sap green, which is warmer instead of cooler, and the turquoise. So I like to have a mixture. But ideally, you want a warm and cool of your primary. So you want a warm and cool yellow, warm and cool red, warm and cool blue. So that's 6, and then you have 4 more optional colors. I would choose a purple. You're welcome. So I would choose a purple, something dark like sepia or Payne's gray. If you like to mix with white, I would choose a white. And then you have 1 more optional fun color. Maybe you want turquoise, a color that you don't want to have to mix all the time, but that you know that's one that you use a lot, like Opera Rose or Purple Lake. Winsor Newton Purple Lake is a pretty color, or teal or something like that. Yeah, 720p. So always when you're watching any of these live broadcasts, adjust your picture for 720p. So because I'm switching to this bigger box, I can get a small, I have these mini Papermate Inkjoy gel pens, so I can get one of those in there. Yay! And there's plenty enough room in here for me to stick a little journal in. I wonder if this actually fits in here. Let's try it. Hey, look at that. Wow, I've got plenty of paper to work with now. Now, if you were worried about it keeping shut, of course, you could still, you know, put a rubber band around it. That's just to keep it closed so that, you know, when I've got it in my handbag, it's not going anywhere. So I was able to fit a store-bought watercolor journal in here. And I actually have more room if you really wanted to stuff it more. There's room in here for, you know, like a couple more brushes or something. I really don't need any more brushes. I've got one like medium sized brush, and that's fine. This is a watercolor notebook. I don't remember who this is by. Is it Strathmore? Let's see. Oops. Oh, it's a moleskin. So it's a watercolor moleskin. And it's small. You know, it's a small one. So I can put this in here. And I could actually switch the brush out new to a bigger one. Right? Exactly. So I'm going to share a couple more things with you guys. So I really want you guys to not have to wait until you're home or something to work in your journals. You know, if you're out and about with the family, you could just take it with you. When I'm traveling and I'm going for more than, you know, just a day, like when we go on vacation, I take this with me. This is my bigger kit because, you know, I have an addiction to travel kits. This is the one I made out of a book from, or a case from American Science and Surplus. And this is my well-loved watercolor kit. This is a small 12 half pan metal case. I bought it empty from Jackson's Art. This is my collection of colors. I have taken the inside insert out, and I'm able to get a lot more colors in here doing that. And I just put magnets on the back of the pans so that they would fit in here. And this is the one that goes like this. This is the one I took to Alaska. So this is a one of those photo storage boxes. Let me put this away. So this is what usually comes with me, and it's got, you know, a good selection of pens, some washi tape, some paper, brushes, all kinds of stuff. This is one of those photo storage boxes. Now, before this box, I was using this little box, which was really little, and I could fit everything in here. I could fit super minimum amount of things in here, I should say. This is from a box of large paper clips from Target. But this is one of those photo storage boxes. You know, photo case, iris case for scrapbooking to organize your photos in. Yeah, it's very similar. So this is my, these are my fancy travel watercolor brushes. And they're great. I don't always take them with me. This is my case of like extra watercolor stuff, travel stuff. Palette knives, you know, rags, brushes. I have this extra bag of small. Let me see. Uh-oh. Give it a second. There we go. I don't know if that's going to help your picture. There we go. Is that better for you guys? I turned off the autofocus. Yeah, I have a selection of travel things, and when I'm packing, depending on where I'm going, I take different things. So, you know, I really customize my bag for where I'm going. Now, because I'm able to switch this to a bigger bag, and I have these extra brushes that I don't necessarily take with, these are ones I don't take with me. I either take the really small case or I take this. It'll come back. Give it a second. You guys all still there? Cool. All right, so I'm able to get 2 more brushes in here. I love that. And this is one of my favorite brushes. It's from the Winsor Newton Pocket Pocket Dealy. Pocket. There's no music playing here, Gail, so I'm not sure what you're hearing. So because I just did that, I found 2 extra of these little brushes. Oh, tube. These tubes? Or these tubes? These are the base of a pocket water brush. It's a small pocket water brush. And you screw the top to the base like that. Of course, you would have water in here. And the nice thing about these, and I think these are made by Koi, is they come with these black plugs. So you can fill this with water before you leave home, stick this plug in here, and travel with it, and it's not going to leak. I have 2 different sizes here. So I'm going to include these with this kit I made. Oops. Crap. Yeah, you want to come wash my dog? Talk about dogs that don't like taking a bath. My dog really doesn't like taking a bath. I just messed up the color key. Oops. So I think I'm going to give those 2 brushes and this new color, this new kit we made away. Let's see, do I have another black pen? I might. Yeah, I do. Will it fit? Oh, it won't fit in that box. Never mind. They're perfect for travel. They do make a bigger one with a longer base that holds more water. But for traveling, when you're really trying hard to keep everything really light weight and small and compact, these are perfect. I either take these or I take my regular brushes. So I wanted to share with you guys. So I've got so much stuff I've acquired lately. I have this addiction for pocket kits, but those of you who've been watching for a while already know that. Okay, so I found this box recently, and I just, of course, had to have it for my collection. It's empty. There's nothing in it. And I actually have their other... I love pocket boxes. Can you tell? Okay, so this is one recently I got at Wet Paint Art, and I shared the link in my Facebook group. And this is intended to be a children's watercolor kit, and it holds 8 colors. And these are you know, not great paints, they're kids paints, but you could pop the little paints out and you could fill the little holes with your own colors. And it's super cute. And not that I'm ever going to use it or fill it, but I had to have one for my collection. Yeah, these photo boxes are perfect. And I forgot I had an extra one, so now I'll be using that. This is a Winsor Newton pocket kit, and it's good too. I like it. I use it for watercolor and mixed media. It's student grade watercolor. It does come with this brush. My favorite part of this kit is the brush. There is one by Daler Rowney. Which I just got in and I obviously haven't really opened it. This is their Aquafine watercolor, which again, I think is student grade. And it's a similar box to the Winsor Newton one, and it comes also with a cute little brush. I haven't used it in, I just got this. Hey, Paper Junkie, hey. This one is a little harder to get here in the States. I had to order it. I think it came from the UK. But at this point, I have a collection of pocket boxes that I'm just addicted to buying pocket boxes. And let's see, what else do I have? So I'll show you this one in a minute. This is, what is this? This is a Prima box from their paints that I took their paints out. And then I refilled it with, these are Holbein watercolor paints. But this is your basic small 12 half pan box, like the one that I carry in my travel kit. And this one here is the same Prima box. If you don't even like the Prima paints, they're only $25. Buy it for the box, to be honest with you. And then you can fill the box up with whatever paints that you want and you take that traveling. It's a good value for the box. This is PBO. I already have a PBO palette. I have their round one, which I love, but then I found out they have a pocket palette. I had to have it. I haven't even opened it yet, as you can see. The thing I like about this one versus this one, this one on the mixing pan, there's a lip all the way around. So when you're mixing, if you're mixing and you're holding it, or you're mixing, you're on a table at a restaurant, and you get it really watery, on here there's no sides, so the paint's going to run right off the edge. On this one, it's got a lip, so that paint is not going anywhere. I love that. You're right. I have an addiction. It's an addiction now. We're not even calling it me liking them. We're just being honest with it. It's an addiction. Now, I've had this brand before. I had a larger palette that I actually sold. I'm not a big fan of the pat paint particularly, but I found out they had a travel palette. Had to have it. Sennelier. And there's nothing wrong with their paints. I like their paints, all right. And this is their travel palette. This is very similar to the Prima palette. It has the same issues with the mixing tray that the Prima one does. There's no sides. I think they're probably all made by the same company. So, so far, my favorite is the PBO. Of these kind of these ones that open and have 3 sections. All right, so then you have these. Put this up here. All right, so these are Whiskey Painter's palettes. Now, I already have this one. I do love this little box. It doesn't have tons of mixing room. You can mix in the lid. But it is a really cute small box, and it holds a lot of colors for the size of the box. And it's really thin and small. My color key is a little big for the box, so it doesn't ever want to close. There we go. But this is a cute little box that would be great if you want something a little bit bigger in your travel palette. I found out recently they have this one. This is also Whiskey Painter's palette. It's about the same size box, but it's twice the thickness, because it has a flask, a water flask inside of it in the bottom. So you can actually have your water in here to fill into your cup or container, into this. It makes it a little heavier. So it holds its own water, so you don't have to worry about carrying water with you. It holds the same number of paints as this one, but it has this container here that's your little cup to hold your paints. There we go. to hold your water. So you don't have to worry about carrying a cup or something with you. You can have your water in here. I thought that was just so clever. I had to have it. I don't have that. Winsor Newton has one, a similar one, but it's bigger. See, I like the little tiny travel palettes. I'm addicted to the smaller they are, the more I like them. And of course, I got some extra half pans. Because, you know, I'm just, at this point, I'm crazy addicted to them. What else do I have up there? These, I haven't put any of these away yet because I haven't swatched them properly. This is the other PBO palette I have, which I like just because it's round and it has a lot of colors in it. I love this palette. And the colors aren't bad. They're not, you know, they're kind of chalky and opaque, but they're not bad. I really like this palette. It comes with the brush too. I'm not crazy about the brush, but I love that it's round. And then this is the Yarka White Knight. This is their pocket palette, which is bigger than everybody else's. I just like travel boxes. I'm addicted. Some of them I'll probably never use. I'm just addicted to them. It's like, at this point, it's a collection of them. So this is the Yarka White Knights travel box, which is bigger than the others. And it's okay. And the colors are nice and bright. They're kind of a little bit more opaque than I prefer. But they're not bad. The box is just kind of big. When I travel, I like a smaller box that's more this size or smaller. And you can get a lot of paints in these. The one with the flask. The one with the flask is very cool. And like I said, I just bought it. I haven't put any paints in it yet. I think I might really like it. And I will show you how you can get, okay, more. So you'll notice in this one, we have 12 paints in here. And this one only has 8. That's because I haven't put any pans in the center. So you can pull these out. These hold the pans in. And then you can fit more. So then you can get 12 color. 12 in colors that's good. 12 is a good number. You can do it with 12. The White Knight has a full pan. So you could get 12 colors in this little small one with the flask. And you have, you know, other than your brushes and paper, you've got your water bucket, you've got your water and your paints. I mean, that's pretty good, I think. I'm loving this little, this is a clever idea, and it's not a whole lot bigger than this one. And I really do like this box. They seem to be like sturdier than the standard box, I think. And this one here has Mission, I think these are Mission Gold, and I like the Mission Gold paints. Yeah, these are Mission Gold. These are nice paints, by the way. Of course, you know, I haven't really met a paint I don't like. So here's some Yupo. Yeah, I love this one. Now I will tell you, I tried to get this palette with Old Holland paints in it. There are a few companies that have the Whiskey Painters palette, the Flask palette, with their paints in it. And they sell them with their paints in it. But it's constantly on back order. And I could not get it that way. So I ended up just giving up and ordering it empty. And I'll just, it's not like I don't have plenty of paint. So I'll fill it with my own colors. So when I was looking at it, I finally just relented and got Old Holland tubes this way, because I couldn't get it in the palette. It was just constantly on back order. And it was a lot more expensive than just buying it empty. So I just bought it empty. Like I said, it's not like I don't have a lot of paint. And I'll probably fill it with Daniel Smith paints. I just haven't done it yet. But yeah, I love this palette. So I got it on Amazon. A lot of places sell it, but I got it on Amazon. We're going to put Yupo in the lid here. So this is Yupo paper, which is a synthetic paper, and it's like a thin sheet of plastic, and it's not absorbent. Although this says it's Yupo watercolor paper, it's, yeah, and I've watercolored on it. The watercolor just sits on the top and it actually washes off really easily. Oh, this is going to be fun. The White Knights are full pans and they're nice paints. They're not my favorite, but there's nothing wrong with them, and they're very affordable. So, you know, that's, you know, bonus points for them. So I'm going to just trace around the box. Oops. And then we'll cut inside the line. I didn't trace that very well. Oh, there's my scissors. My desk is a mess again. Why does it just not take very long for the desk to be totally messy? And let's see if it fits. Nope. Yeah, I love the Flask palette. It's my favorite. Next to the PBO one. The PBO one is nice. That having that extra blending tray with a lip on it, that's a big deal. Especially if you're a messy painter like I am. So it doesn't have to be, you know, a perfect fit, but, you know, if you put this Yupo in here, look at all that mixing room that gives you. And this just wipes off. And when, you know, if you get it to the point where it just won't wipe off anymore, then you can just replace it with another piece. I'm going to put some double stick tape. Let's see. Things are falling. Okay. Look at that. Nice. Yeah, I like that. And then, like I said, if you're worried about it opening, just grab a rubber band. This is from, I think, some asparagus. See, you can just scrounge around for what you have. You know, if you're like me, you probably have one of these photo storage boxes around in your studio somewhere. And even if you don't watercolor, if you just sketch, then you could fill this with, you know, a couple of pencils and a pen, and you could, and then, you know, a little piece of an eraser, and, you know, you have it wherever you go. You can just take this with you. If you do nothing else, you can just take this with you. And, you know, flying, okay, so you're flying and you want something to do on the plane. This box is easy to take on the plane, and there's nothing in here that TSA is going to tell you you can't take. Now, when I've gotten stopped by TSA and asked to open my art bag, it's usually because I have a larger watercolor palette with me. Like the Koi pocket box used to get me stopped every time because they didn't understand why I had this big box of stuff. They couldn't see it in the scanner. hold on, coffee. And it was bigger than this. And that used to get me stopped all the time. So since then, I try to keep my, all of my supplies I take small. And this is great. And you could just take this. You don't really need more than this. Now, if you're going to do other kinds of journaling, you might want washi tape or a stapler and things like that. And so then that's when I take this one. If I'm working in my journal where I'm documenting my trip and stuff like that, then this one has place for double stick tape, washi tape, a little stapler. It's got watercolor paints, water brushes, pencils, pens, little mini scissors. And this one is perfect along with my journal. I really don't need too much more than that. Yeah, you know, I do have, okay, I drive my husband crazy too. I don't know if he's getting used to it or not, but I do. So you have to, what I do is have a set area where I store these things in. And then when that area is full, I can't keep anything else. If I have something I really want to keep, then I have to get rid of something that's already in there, to just try to keep it to a minimum. I'm going to put all these pocket boxes back. They were all sitting up here on the shelf because, yeah, I am a pocket box addict. I think I need a t-shirt, but isn't this one cute? Somebody's asked for a picture of all my watercolor palettes, and someday I'll do that. I am selling my 2 big round Robax palettes because I just don't use them, and I've discovered that I really love pocket boxes. Yeah, and say you're meeting the girlfriends for coffee, you know, and while you're waiting, you could have this with you, and you could do a little ATC card. You could work in one of your 2 journals. I have 2 little journals in here now. You have a couple of different things you can work on. And the nice thing about having multiple things to work on, as you know, with watercolor, you've got to wait for it to dry. And when you're away from home, you can't use a heat gun. So you could do a background on one and then set it aside and do something in the other. Oh, I'm sorry. My pocket scissors have never gotten away from me. In fact, I've been into Canada and back. It might be the type of scissors. These are, I don't know what kind you've had. These look like a pen, but these are not. They're scissors. They have something like this on Amazon, but I found these at the Japanese dollar store. And they fit in this little bag, the zipper pouch. I do have a pencil sharpener in here. And there, this is a bigger kit. And this is made from, like I said, from a case from American Science and Surplus. And then I put the Tim Holtz binder rings in the case. And this is a great little case. This went with me to Alaska and it was fabulous. I took this and my journal, and that did great by me. I do have to clean out my travel case because I have things in there that I never take traveling. I'm not sure why they're in there. For instance, in here, I have taken these and I like this little brush, so I would keep this in here. But these other brushes don't need to be in here. I'm not sure why they're in here. I do have some watercolor pencils that I'm not, again, I don't know. I don't know. There's some palette knives in here. I don't know. So I need to, and there's some other stuff down there. I need to do some cleaning over there. We're gonna give this away, and I'll probably put paper in here and some other things. I'm not sure exactly yet, and I'll post something with pictures when I get it all completed. And now that I messed up the color key, I have to make a new one, so I'll do that off camera. But we have to let that dry. And this is the flesh tone one that I did the other day. I showed it on social media. There's a video for this. I have to do a voiceover. and I haven't, the video is edited, but I haven't done the voiceover. So it'll be coming out soon, and I'll talk through mixing the colors and why I did what I did and how I did it. But in the meantime, I will tell you also too that when I've already done a couple videos with voiceovers, and I didn't sort of regulate all the sound, so that like the intro sound is like really, really loud, and then my voice is, you can hear it, but you have to turn the sound up. So if you're watching the video and you get past the intro and the title and you can't hear me talking, turn the sound up. It's me doing screwed up editing. But anyway, I haven't done this one yet. I'll fix it on this one. But I wanted to have flesh tones. I didn't want to have to mix them. So even when I'm, you know, traveling, if I wanted to, I could take this with me. And again, this is one of the Prima palettes, because I put all my Prima paints in a bigger palette, and I didn't throw these away, so I saved them. But if I was going, say, on an art trip, like meeting, like when I met the girls in Vegas, and I knew we were going to like do watercolor, I could just bring, and I knew I wanted to do faces, I could bring this with me. I could also pop one of these pans out and put it in my other kit and just bring the pan with me. But this way I have pre-mixed watercolor flesh tones, and I'm not having to mix it on the fly necessarily. I did have some extra of one of the flesh tone colors that I put into a full pan, and it went out in one of the mystery boxes. And this is just a scrap piece of paper. I don't think it's quite dry yet. This again has been sitting out for a couple of days. Yeah, so the flesh tone. So if you like to watercolor and you like to watercolor girls, either in watercolor or gouache, yeah, then why not mix up some flesh tone colors and have them pre-mixed so you don't have to do it again. And it's not like the watercolor is going to go bad. When I do this with acrylic, you have to keep it in an airtight container and worry about, if you don't use it right away, it drying up. With watercolor, you want it to dry up. It reconstitutes, so it's not a problem. That's one of the things I love about watercolor. You never have to worry about it drying up. And I have a couple of variations of dark flesh tone, a couple of lighter flesh tones, some white if these aren't light enough, and thinning them with water is not enough for me, and I want to actually add white to them. I have white here. I have a couple of shades of red, so that, say, I could do the cheeks of the face with red, or if I want to make the flesh tone a little redder, I've got some red for the lips. Yellow, in case I wanted. So I have sort of a bluer flesh tone, a red flesh tone, but say I want one that's got some more yellow in it. I've got a nice yellow, Azo Yellow Deep. I've also got Payne's Gray. And you can use the Payne's Gray to, say, color the eyes, sketch in the eyelashes, do the shadows. Ideally, you could make all of these colors work and do a face with just this palette without breaking out anything else. These are bugging me. And if you guys want, we can do a quick face this morning before we do anything else. And I'm gonna have to fix this color key now that I messed it up. And Gail, that's when I'm cleaning stuff out. That's when I do a mystery box. So I watch my Etsy store for the mystery boxes. And let me get a piece of paper. I need kind of a bigger piece of paper. Let's use my journal that I'm trying to fill up. Can I fix it, fit it on the table? Let's see. Got to move some stuff. I'll prove it to you about this palette. So let's do that this morning. Okay, we're gonna have to zoom out a little bit because there's no way on the planet that you're gonna get. I'm gonna get all that in the screen. So. So when I have the giveaway ready, there will be a speed through video on YouTube, and so you guys watch for it. And there'll probably be like a raffle copter thing to sign up for. Okay. All right. And we need to spray our paints and get them wet. My water has oxgal in it to aid in the re-wetting and flow of the paint, watercolor paint. Now, of course, you can sketch your face first and do a quick sketch or not. I'm going to do a quick sketch. Maybe. I'm not feeling the sketching, so we're not going to. I take that back. Not feeling it. All right. So I'm going to start with one of the darker tones. I'm always learning more about doing faces and figures. I don't think that you can ever know everything, and I like to see other people's style. This is totally unplanned, in case you didn't get that clue there. So putting a little paint down, then putting water down. Yeah, see, and I really like the idea of having them pre-mixed in a palette. How much more convenient is that to have them pre-mixed in a palette? Now, if you're not sure about proportions on faces and you're not, too used to doing faces, or then you probably want to do a pencil sketch first. And if you're, not used to watercolor and you don't like, the blooming or mixing that you might get, if that bugs you, then you probably want to do one color and let things dry. I'm okay with, trying to make it work. Faces are challenging, so that's probably why we all like doing them, because they're a challenge to get it looking to where it's a believable face, whether you do realistic or suggestion. I mixed them on a ceramic plate and then picked them up with a palette knife, and that's what I show in the video. You could definitely do it on Yupo. I use ceramic plates for mixing all of my paints. Oh, thanks. And this is a Princeton Select round number 4, FYI. But I have a bunch of round ceramic like dessert plates that I got from the dollar store, and I use those for mixing paint. So when you put your paint down, then put your water where you want the paint to go. Don't put water like over here. That's not where you want the shadows to go. And so that's one way of trying to, or learning to, control your watercolor paint. And you notice I'm just still using the one shade of flesh tone color. I haven't like dipped into anything else. You can lighten it up by just adding water. This one. So I'm going to take the Phthalo Crimson. This is a Grumbacher color, and I'm going to mix it with some of the flesh tone. And then put some on, and then I'm going to blend it out a little bit with water. So I do have a face course on my website. There's a page called the Classroom, and it's a face course that includes making a template. And the way to have it not look like an alien, I hate to tell you, Gail, is to practice. There's no shortcut. Just practice. She's not too bad. I have a bigger brush here. This is still a round brush, but this is a number 6, so it's a little bit bigger. I'm really wanting to give her hair. It's bugging me that she has no hair. I just don't know how I want her hair to be. So we'll start over here. So you probably have certain colors that you prefer to use when you're working on something like a face. So if you're going to create a palette like this, keep those colors in mind, and those are the colors that you want to include when you're creating your palette. It is fun though to challenge yourself by maybe omitting, you know, one of those said favorite colors. I like to use purple on faces, but you notice there's no purple in my palette. I like a loose kind of suggestive face. I like to suggest the shapes and features rather than draw them in. I'm not really a realist portrait person, or actually a realist artist by any stretch. And trying to be a realist portrait just makes me not want to do art, to be honest with you. That's it's not fun. Probably because I have a streak of perfectionism in me, and yeah, because I feel like I never can do a good enough job, so then I don't like it. I'm going to catch up on the comments in just a minute. I see comments coming. Okay. So remember, when you're doing collages, you don't have to just use gel medium. You can use fluid matte medium. You can use Collage Page, Decoupage. Heck, you can use Elmer's glue. You don't have to use gel medium. Now, if your paper is really thick, then you're going to have trouble getting it to stick down. But that doesn't mean it won't stick down. It just means it's going to be a little harder. You can use PVA glue. Okay, now that we put her hair in, there would be some shadows up here. So this is a homemade journal that I made. It was part of a course that I have up on Udemy. It's still up on Udemy. And it's got 140-pound cold pressed watercolor paper in it. I believe this is Fabriano paper. I could be wrong on that, but I think it's Fabriano paper. Yeah, you might have to weigh it down. Hold on, I'm going to catch up on the comments in a minute. Let me get these shadows in here. So she's pretty cute. Okay, see. Well, animals and flowers are always better to start with because they're less scary to do, Gail. So I would definitely, there's plenty of flowers in here, so definitely if that's what you're feeling, follow that instinct. And yes, you can, then the lime lamb, that's true. So I just, yeah, so you should take at least one course that teaches you structure and, you know, proportion, and then you can stylize your face. Yeah, and they have realism courses for animals too, and there's a lot of really great teachers here on YouTube that teach those things that you might really enjoy. So, you know, look on YouTube and see what's here. So I'm taking some of the yellow and I'm mixing it with the red I was using. There are some great books out there, and if you want a fabulous online teacher who teaches you a lot about composition and all of that stuff, try Pauline Agnew. One of these days I'm going to make it to her, one of her courses she teaches in Europe someday. I like those books. There is a channel here on YouTube, and I can't think of the name right now, that does, what do you call it? Life sketching nudes. And they have some timed lessons. And that's not what you call it. That's just, I can't think of it, the name right now. So you just keep going until you know, have something that you really like, that you're real happy with. Because you're working with watercolor and it, you know, dries fairly quickly, you want to be conscious of not going too far with your paint too quickly, and really working light to dark. You can't take it back. It's not like with acrylic paint where you can, you know, kind of take it back. If you put the wrong color in, you can, you know, just layer on top of it. With watercolor paint, you can't do that. You're stuck. So we're just using the new flesh tone palette that I created. And I'm mixing I'm still using the one flesh tone, and I'm mixing it now with the Payne's Gray. Yeah, exactly. There's also, yeah, the channel I'm thinking of, and I can't think of the name of it, has timed lessons. And some of them are like 5 minutes. There's a different kinds of timed lessons. Some of them are 5 minutes. Some of them are, you know, longer. And wish I could think of the name of it. It's here on YouTube. I can't think of the name of it. I don't know. But yeah, there's no shortcut. Just practice. If I can think of the name of the other channel, I'll let you guys know later on, but I can't think of it right now. But there is another one. I don't think it's Anatomy for the Artist. I think it's a different one. And they have pictures of nudes and semi-nudes. And it's fabulous practice. But yeah, especially, you know, if you like doing faces, I would definitely recommend this. Now, if you took the insert out of here, you could get more colors into your, if you're going to make one of these palettes, you could get more colors in there. I'm not crazy about this dark blob that's up here. Generally speaking, I would try to work with it, but I do have white in here for a reason. So we're going to take advantage of the fact that I've got white in there. It's better. I like that better. So white's not always good to have for blending, but you know, I'm not opposed to using it when I get too much of the wrong color in the wrong place. Setting art really helps keep you loose. So it's a great thing to do if you feel like you're getting too wound up in stressed about, you know, your art and drawing it as things and creating things a certain way. Timed art's fabulous. So you just keep layering your colors, and you know, when you have watercolor, they're so sheer. You can put the new color on, but you can see all those old marks underneath. I just love that. Now this color is very pigmented. This is Azo Yellow Deep. This is a Van Gogh watercolor. And one of the reasons I have this color in here is because it's a great color for suddenly warming up the face and giving you all those suggestions of sunlight and warmth. And remember, down deep, most of you watching, including me, we're mixed media artists. So what does that mean? It means we have no rules. We can do whatever the heck we want, however we want. Gail, you may have to go out and come back in again. So yeah, I love using a nice bright, and I love the Azo Yellow Deep because it's slightly orangey golden yellow, and it's one of my favorite colors for doing this with. And because it's, you know, you're using watercolor, it's very sheer, and you literally can just kind of run it over everything. You'll still see all those other layers through the yellow, but it's just going to warm the face up so much. Oh, good, Amy. I'm so glad. And, you know, remember, like I said, we're all deep down, we're mixed media artists. Most of us that you are watching right now, myself included. And is she a perfect face? No, but I like her. And we're just playing. And this whole book is about playing and studies and practicing with materials and colors. And, you know, there's no rules. You can always just let this dry, and then you can highlight her face with pencil, pen, markers, acrylic paint. I mean, there's no rules. Cadmium yellow is a good one. These are the colors I chose for me, but that doesn't mean they're going to work for you. Now I have the flesh tone colors I mixed. I also have white. This is Grumbacher Phthalo Crimson, Van Gogh Permanent Red Deep, Van Gogh Azo Yellow Deep, and Van Gogh Payne's Gray. Okay, I like that better. So as soon as I can get the voiceover done on the video where I actually mix the watercolors, if you're just joining or you've just joined a little while ago, I didn't mix those on camera on the broadcast today. I did them. It's a recording that I have to do a voiceover on still. I used no. No, Gail. The easy answer to that is no. So I used a red, yellow, and blue to get the flesh tone colors, and then I also had a burnt umber brown, and then also Chinese white, and that's how I got the flesh tone colors. And in the video, I'll walk you through that. You can do it with any red, yellow, and blue, but you're going to get different tones of different flesh tones with different reds, yellows, and blues. So you want to really use, I'm pretty sure I used ultramarine blue. I think I used something like cadmium yellow or lemon yellow. And then I think I used a quinacridone red for the three primaries to mix these. And then I also had a burnt umber, a brown. And then I had some white. Not generally speaking, I don't have a problem with that. But I do it pretty quickly, and I don't sit and scrub over it so that things move around too much. I also kind of try to let things dry. So you'll notice, like I did the hair, and I let the face was drying while I was doing the hair. You could do the lips or something while the hair is drying if you want to do more on the hair. Yeah, burnt sienna is a nice warm brown, so you can use it to make a lot of colors. But look and see what you have, and try mixing a flesh tone with what you have. You really need a red, a yellow, and a blue, and then you should have some white, and a brown is helpful but not necessary. I still haven't finished my coffee. It's almost lunchtime. I did make it to the gym this morning though. Yay. All right, that's it for today. That's a lot. So don't, be afraid to make yourself a travel custom travel kit or a flesh tone kit, or if you've got an addiction to, like me, to pocket kits, like, hello. But you know, the most important thing is that do what you need to so that you can have some fun with your art supplies and your watercolor paints. There's lots of choices out there, but you don't have to spend a lot of money if you're going to watercolor at all. This whole kit was made with more affordable student grade paints, the flesh tone kit. And this, you know, it doesn't cost much. You can make your own little small Altoids pocket watercolor palette out of, and you find a box that you have. Maybe you have one like this. Maybe you've got the smaller one, but use what you have. Oh, thank you. She's fun. All right, that's it for today. Don't forget the most important thing. Go out and have some fun, do something nice for yourself and maybe somebody else, because you deserve it and so do they. If you guys haven't shared Shannon Green's GoFundMe, her family's going through a hard time right now. Think about if you can't help her out at all, and every little bit does help, then at least share her GoFundMe post. Shannon Green is one of our own, and I would like to see us all rally around her and help. They're having a very hard time. It's explained in her on her Facebook page and her blog. And that's it for today. I'm going to fix that color key and put together a little kit for a giveaway. I've got some more cleaning to do before I can do that, and I will talk to you all later. Thanks, guys. I'll see you. Bye.